Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lucy and I run Lula Rocks. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my Royal Mail click and drop FAQ video, I suppose is what we're going to call it. So if you haven't watched the part 1, I will link it here and I'll also put a link below. Make sure you give that a watch. There's probably lots of tips and tricks that could help you. Plus I answer some of your frequently asked questions from my original Royal Mail click and drop video. If you haven't watched that and you're just starting out shipping or just starting your own small business that involves shipping, do check it out. Again, I will put a link up here and in the description so that you can have a little look and check that out. Also, I apologise for the random green lights that are all appearing over my body. It's my little star projector. And without further ado, let's get started. One of the most popular ones I get is my orders aren't pulling through. Now, after you've integrated click and drop to either Etsy or Shopify or whatever kind of platform it is that you're using, it actually takes a little while for new orders to start coming through, and existing ones that you already had in your system before you integrated with click and drop, they are not going to pull through. Maybe it's something that will get kind of set up in the future, but for the moment, it's only going to be future orders. Also, new orders still aren't going to go on straight away. So I've been on click and drop for years and years and years. And if I get an order through my Etsy, for example, it does not show up for sometimes a few minutes, sometimes 20 minutes. There's obviously some kind of time frame. I'm not sure how long it is, but it does take a little while at times for your orders to come through to click and drop. Now, one of the things that I did go through in the click and drop video is manual orders, how to input like a manual shipping label. If say you've got like a Kickstarter or Patreon or something like that, you have to put your labels in manually. So I'm just going to show you how to do that because I did touch on it last time, but it has changed a lot since I first did that video. So the first thing you want to do is when you're in click and drop, you want to go up to this little truck icon that's buy and print a shipping label. And it will bring up all of the details. It is really kind of the same as what you used to. It just looks slightly different. If you've got a customer that you ship to all the time, you can save their details in here so that you don't have to always manually add it in. You want to put in their name, their full name here, their address, postcode, email and phone number if you want to. And if you want to save it, you just need to click create or update address book entry and give it some kind of a reference or name so that you know what to search by going forward. And then going forward, you would start typing in here that reference number or that address book reference that you've saved, and that should bring up that address. So once you've put in all of your details here, if you've got an international order, you do need to add your customs detail. So I tend to put it in at this section here, custom details, and you just can start putting in your product name, your SKU number, if you have a SKU number, how many there is, how much the item weighs, and how much it is. And there's also your customs description and custom code here. Now, thankfully, it has a button where you can look up customs code. That never used to be a thing. So if I want to put in, say, a sticker, look up customs code, stickers. That is a very handy feature. Once you put that in, you can either save the order, you can go straight ahead and apply the postage, or you can create another. So if you've got multiple people that you need to put in, you just go create another and it will just load up a new page again for you to put in your customer's details. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to touch on is how to import your orders. Click on this orders button and you've got import. So it'll bring up this page where it's asking you to upload a file. Now, obviously at the moment, you don't have a file to upload because you don't know what you're doing. What I would suggest for you to do is to set up kind of like an Excel spreadsheet with all of the details that you know you're going to need to ship. So their first name, last name, all in separate columns, first name, last name, address, postcode, and all of the details that you think that you want to put in. So then you are going to find your file that you've just set up, book one, upload the file, and then you need to map the fields. Now, once you've kind of done this, then you know what information you need to put in and where. So name format, I've done first and last names are separate, but you can do them combined. So I should have probably said that first. So you could have Lucy Lula all in one column basically if you wanted to. Date format, you can choose how you want the date format to be. First row is the header. So you can see here, you've got Lucy, Lula, address, postcode, phone number. So I need to find in here the first name, there we go, and then last name, and then this will be probably address line 1, and then normally you would have city, country, etc., etc. postcode, and you basically just need to match up the fields based on what you've put and what the options are in Royal Mail Click and Drop. I hope that makes sense. And there's all sorts you can map out. You can do the whole lot if you want to, but obviously this is just to show you kind of how it works. Now, once you've done that, you would click import orders. What I will say is I have had some issues in the past with importing orders in this way when it comes to international shipping. I found this on Kickstarters. For some reason, the customs label will come out with £0 as the total, which isn't great because I have kind of missed that before, sent parcels out, and then they've been rejected and turned back to me because customs have stopped the parcel. So I would say test it for yourself if you want to have a go. If that does happen, you can just scribble out 0 and write in the actual value of the order on there. It's not a problem, they will accept that. But I've just stopped doing international orders through that method because it doesn't work for me. And maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong. I don't know. But and when I've contacted Royal Mail about it directly, they don't really know what the issue is either. So that's how you import orders. Okay, so a lot of the questions that I have got are, if I mark this as dispatched on Royal Mail, will it feed through to my Etsy or my Shopify or my platform? I don't really know the answer to this. I know that sounds awful, but I don't use it myself. And anytime I have used it myself, I don't think it works for me personally. The connection is there, so I'll mark it as dispatched on Click and Drop, and I think it's been a long time since I've done it, but I think it does mark it as complete in, say, Shopify, but I don't think the customers get their notifications to say your order has been fulfilled, Lula Rocks has sent your order, it's on the way, etc, etc. And that's why I don't like using it. So I do it manually. I go into Shopify and I will manually mark them as fulfilled to make sure that the customers get a notification. So again, that's probably something that you need to have a look at and see, A, does it work for you? B, does it work for you in the way you want it to? And C, are you going to do it? Okay, now one of the main questions that I used to get in the comment section was, can I hide the postage amount for my labels? Now, at the time of filming, no, you couldn't. You really couldn't. And I was kind of the opinion of, well, I mean, if you feel like you need to hide them, then maybe you're charging too much. I don't know. If you feel that like, oh, do I want people to know that I'm only paying this? That's how I felt about it, because I felt like my postage prices have always been fairly reasonable, but I do include, say, like the cost of the box and tissue paper and things like that all within the postage. So it's like postage and packing, not just postage. So I wasn't kind of ashamed or embarrassed of how much I was paying Royal Mail because I wasn't charging like an extra £5. However, now you can hide the postage prices. Okay, so all you need to do is click on the settings button, go to miscellaneous, and you can see here, hide postage price on your labels. So you want to make sure that that's ticked and hit save, and those prices won't show anymore. Last few questions, these are more general. Okay, is it free to use? Yes. Click and Drop is completely free to sign up as a personal account. Now, I will talk about personal accounts later. You don't have to pay anything more for postage than if you went into the post office and bought the labels in person. In fact, I think you actually get a slight online discount for doing it online rather than going into the post office. So, you don't have to pay anything extra unless you want to, for example, for tracked shipping or because you're dropping it off to the post office. But like I said, if you pop it in the post box, you don't have to pay anything extra. Next question. Do I have to manifest the order? This is something that a lot of you have asked about manifests. No. The difference is personal versus a business account. I've been running Lula Rocks since 2017 and I still have a personal Click and Drop account. I do not manifest the orders. I do not have to pay anything. It is free. Now, there are some limitations. You can get a business account called an OBA or online business account. I don't know what the charges are. I do believe it is cheaper, and I do believe you will have regular collections from your postie who will come and collect them in the big grey mail sacks. But I believe you have to have a certain amount of outgoing parcels each year, month, I don't know, but I think there's you have to hit a certain amount value spend with them to get a business account. If you have enough orders and you want to look into it, then I definitely recommend looking into an OBA. But at the moment, I'm still using personal account, so no, I don't have to manifest the orders. I don't have like a monthly charge. I just pay for the labels that I deal with at the time. An OBA probably is something I will look into, but like I said, I think there is a minimum spend, and I think you have to spend like £1,000 with Royal Mail. I actually have no idea how much I spend on shipping a year. It's probably way more than that, but I just haven't looked into it yet. You know, got a lot on. So yeah, that's the difference between personal and an OBA. Okay, last question. Oh, made it. Do I need to include a returns address? Yes, unfortunately you do. Now, I believe if you have a PO box and you pay for a PO box, I think you can put that on there as your return address. It can feel a little uncomfortable having your personal home address if you run your business from home. It can feel very uncomfortable having that personal address on your parcels, but unfortunately you have to do it. There has to be a return address, because if for some reason that cannot be delivered, whether it's an issue with customs or it's track shipping and the person wasn't at home to sign for it, or the parcel was, I don't know, whatever the reason, it might come back to you. And they cannot send it back if there is not a return address on there. So it is for Royal Mail's use, not for the customer to come and stalk you. I can't promise you're not going to get a stalk up. So it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. Okay, that is the end of part 2 of my Royal Mail click and drop video. If you have any questions, as always, please do leave them below in the comments and I will try my best to get back to you with something helpful. We'll see. I don't work for Royal Mail. I am not employed by them, so I am not an expert on their click and drop system, but I will do my best. If you do have any major issues though, I would definitely recommend contacting Royal Mail click and drop direct, and they should be able to help you out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon for another video. Bye for now.